Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to an episode of Routed Up Quick Hits. Today we're going to talk about. We just got some news about Tua. We're going to discuss Tua a little bit. We're going to discuss a couple games for Week 7 with JMIK and let's just get these names right. There we go. Whittle and JMIK. We're going to talk about Week 7 slate, some games of the week, and how they feeling about a couple. I guess you call them big time trades this week. I already know how Whittle feels about one of the trades, but we're going to talk about both of them right after this. What up, Whittle? What's up, J Mick? How y'all feeling this morning?
What up? What's
I
going
feel
on, man?
All right, let's get right into it with these quick hits. Let's start with you, Whittle. We had two moves this week with two wide receivers, one for the Jets, one for the Bills. Let's start with the Bills first. Which one of these moves has a bigger impact to the team and to its division and the playoff race?
I think it would be the Buffalo Bills trading for Amari Cooper. The Bills came into this season with two major question marks. I think it was the safety play and the wide receiver room. By adding a guy like Amari Cooper, even if he's diminished based on what he's done so far this year, he's still a elite level route runner. Um, he's still a guy with a name that still carries some cachet in this league that defenses have to respect. And he's playing with Josh Allen. Josh Allen still through 6 games, no interceptions. He's taking very good care of the football. And he's shown a propensity to get the ball to his guys in positions where they can make plays. So I believe Amari Cooper was the subject of like 20 something percent or whatever of uncatchable passes. I mean, that number's certainly going to go down playing with Josh Allen. And in the playoff race, I mean, the Bills are sitting at the top of the AFC East again. Um, Figure I throw that out there. And if they're gonna match up with the upper echelon of teams like your Houston's, your Kansas City, Baltimore's, San Fran, Detroit, all who we either played or are on the schedule. You know, you gotta have a dog. You gotta have a guy that commands the way defenses play you. And I think that's what he does. The Jets are floundering right now. They picked up Devontae Adams. This just doesn't really address the issues of the offensive line, the defense's inability to stop the run. The linebackers having trouble with covering, the short game and running backs out the backfield. So I just think out of the moves that were made, and I don't want to shortchange Cam Akers going from the Texans to the Vikings, but I just think that while some of these moves do help the teams that are gaining these players, I just don't think the impact is the same. Maybe Cam Akers to the Vikings if they figure out how to get the most out of it, but. Yeah, between Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper, I think it's got to be cool.
Um, for me, I mean, so I'm looking at situations, right? The Jet situation. I mean, like the way I look at their team is, I never looked at they had a wide receiver problem. Like, I mean, like they have ample weapons. I mean, like they got one weapon now that they're trying to trade away, Mike Williams, who they really haven't really used correctly. And what I mean, like in my point of view. Um, and it's kind of like Whittle said, like offensive line, like they got an issue. Like their left tackle looked like he's 45 years old out there. Like he getting beat like a drum week in and week out. And I mean, like that's part of the reason why they can't run the football, and it's part of the reason why like Brees Hall hasn't really been able to get off this season. And so yeah, I mean, like adding Tay, I mean Tay, Tay is like one of my favorite wide receivers to watch. I mean, he's a great wide receiver, but like it's like, I mean, like you're adding something to it, something that's not really an issue versus like the Bills. I mean, I don't view the Bills as so much of an issue, but it's like, I mean, like, I mean, they need the number one guy. Like that's what they need to be, because I mean, like, their run game. The crazy thing about the Bills' run game is, I mean, James Cook didn't play. So I mean, like, I mean, Ray Davis plays, and I mean, Ray Davis balls out. Like, he's running the ball, he's catching the ball, and all that. And so I mean, I mean, for me, like, the Bills' offense is more set up in terms of not being able to throw the ball as effectively as possible. Because I want to say, I think Josh Allen is averaging about 200 yards a game. And if you look at his last couple of years, that's not really his, like, his thing. Like, he's throwing more than that, like, yardage wise. So I mean, he hasn't turned over the ball, but I mean, I just feel like when you bring Cooper in there, it's, I mean, like, the rest of their guys, it's gonna slot them in the proper place. So I mean, that's why I have to say, like, I mean, like, the Jets acquisition was great. I mean, but I think, like, the Bills one was better. So.
Breaking news from Deanna Rossini. Tua's going to back to practice this week, and he's slated to start next week. JMIK, let us know how that helps the Dolphins. And I don't like. I'm totally surprised about him coming back. I mean, it seems like when he has his concussions, it's always the worst immediate symptoms of a bad concussion. And I don't know how many concussions he's had.
I mean, honestly, I'm not that surprised, because, like, after the injury, a lot of people say, "Oh, he's not going to play this year." I'm like, I mean, like, I mean, like, the dude been playing football his whole life, and so I've come to the conclusion this is all he knows. And so I mean, like, he might have got advice to play or not to play. Like, I don't know. Like, that's not really, I mean, I've taken the attitude, like, it's not my place to I mean, like, tell him whether he can play or not. Like, if he want to risk it all and he want to play, I mean, like, like, I hope he comes back and I hope he stay healthy. But I didn't think. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be this soon. So I mean, for me, like, looking at the Dolphins as a whole, they're right now sitting at 2-3. So I mean, before he comes back, like, they face the Colts this week. So I feel as if for them, that's a must win now, because you don't want to go to 2-4. I mean, that's just a place that you don't want to be. So I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, like, I just think I mean, he's going to make the offense more viable, because right now they really can't throw the ball. Like, they I mean, like, they just, I mean, like, Hill and Waddle have completely been kind of, I mean, I don't want to say neutralized, but that's kind of what it's been, because they, I mean, like, they're not really, like, they're not really efficient in the passing game. They're not really doing anything in the passing game. Like, it's all on the ground at this point. So it's not only going to help the offense, but it's going to help their defense too. I mean, because obviously, like, they weren't, I mean, when you're not able to sustain drives and move the ball, I mean, like, your defense on the field a lot. So with Tua coming back, Tua should be able to I mean, like, help them in that fashion. So I mean, like, they have their season ahead of them. I mean, like, if they can, I mean, the next 6 games, if they can find a way to go 4-2 or 5-1, I mean, they'll be right back in the mix to try to make the playoffs.
What you think, Whittle?
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, the offense for the Dolphins, it grounded to a halt when Tua left, man. I mean, they really couldn't do anything, and the run game, while it is effective, it's much less effective when the threat of the pass isn't there. When you fear the ability of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to get behind the defense, and not just get behind the secondary, but the quarterback be able to recognize it very, very quickly and deliver an accurate football to them. Whether or not they got to slow down for it and catch it or not, the chunk plays were always a threat because of the personnel there when Tua was behind center. Over the last few games, you see that they have not been able to generate a ton of explosive plays outside of somebody guys on the ground, or them somebody making a spectacular play on their own. Now he comes back. He immediately makes Mike McDaniel look like a good coach again, because he's looked terrible over the last few weeks. He helps out the defense. Tua coming back, because they're going to be able to sustain drives. They're going to be able to get big plays, and they're going to be able to score points. And then it's going to help the running game, because it's going to create space. You're going to automatically pull safeties back. Safeties are going to they're not going to be 10 yards off the line. They're going to be 15 yards off the line. They're gonna back up. Um, the play action is gonna work a lot better because of Tua's ability to deliver balls in tight windows and be very, very accurate. So defenses are gonna have to play them differently. I always felt like Tua was going to come back. Whether I wanted him to or not is irrelevant. Um, if I see him out there without a guardian cap on, like that's going to be an issue, though. I mean, there are things that are there. There are things in place to mitigate the effects of the physicality of this game, and he should take full advantage of it. I know it makes them look like Toadstool from Mario Brothers, but look, man, it worked for Taylor Rapp. Like Taylor Rapp wears the guardian cap. I think he had the best game of his career. I believe Jabril Peppers wears it for the Patriots. Like it is what it is. Like this is not about style points. It's about protecting yourself and about maximizing your ability to play. Like one of those things that neutralizes a lot of careers or injuries. So if you can lessen the likelihood of taking on another injury, then you should. I think you owe it not only to your team and to the fans, but to yourself as a individual and your family. So I hope Tua takes care of himself. I'm looking forward to seeing him back on the field. I think Tua is a great player. I've loved Tua since he was at Alabama. My mother owns property out there, so um, I've seen a lot of Alabama games up close and personal, and they still gonna lose to us, but that's gonna be good for them. They'll finish ahead of the Jets.
That's a great point about that helmet. Um, and that'll be a good look on the NFL. I'm quite sure the NFL probably said, look, if he's coming back, put that helmet on. I think that'll be needed for him. And now that you mention it, I wonder why he ain't have it on already, but that's a whole nother discussion. Let's stay with you, Whittle. What's your game of the week this week?
Oh, game of the week. Let me go. I want to look, but I already know what the game to me. What the game of the week is. To me, it's Ravens Buccaneers, man. Monday Night Football. Um, the Buccaneers are one of the best teams in the NFC. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, one of the best teams in the AFC. Um, they're on a high right now. Nobody can seem to slow down this Russian attack. But the Buccaneers can put up a ton of points. The Buccaneers, I think, have the personnel with Levante David and Vita Vea in the middle to cause some issues for that Ravens offense. And I also think that secondary, I mean, they got the best safety in the league, in my opinion, Antoine Winfield. So if anybody's going to come up and be able to stifle that running game, it'll be the Buccaneers. And I think if they can, they also have the offense with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Trey Palmer. Um, and not to mention, they have not one, not two, but three running backs that are very, very capable. Rashad White, Sean Tucker, and Bucky Irving. So all three of those guys have the ability to hurt you as a receiver, hurt you as a running back. So this is a very, very potent offense that this Ravens defense is going up against. And this is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield knows the Ravens. He's played against the Ravens multiple times while he was the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I think that those old rivalries never die. Um, Baker's a very petty. To me, Baker seems like a very petty and and a very, very, very like super. He's super, super, super competitive. I just think he's looking at this game and saying, if we beat the Ravens, this not only establishes me as as one of the guys that is knocking on that door of being an elite quarterback, but it also says that the Buccaneers are for real. The Buccaneers are one of the the top class teams of the NFL. So I'm looking forward to that game.
Yeah, so I'm about to go with a different matchup, man. I'm going with the Super Bowl rematch, man. I seen it on the schedule. I just gotta say, I mean, it's Chiefs Niners, man. Like the Chiefs have built their dynasty off of the backs of the 49ers, team over the last 3-4 years. It just I mean, you know, I mean, like it is what it is. And so I like for me, this like looking at this game, I mean, the Chiefs got to go to Santa Clara. I mean, for me, I mean, it doesn't for the Chiefs if they lose, they'd be like, well, I mean, like we beat this team so many times the last 4 or 5 years anyway, so it really don't matter for them. But I mean, for the Niners, I think that they need to beat this team because I mean, like this team has been in their way. I mean, if not for the Chiefs, I mean, the Niners would have two more Super Bowls. I mean, and if not for that, they would have the most Super Bowls in the history of the NFL. So so for me, from a fan and a team perspective, I mean, the Niners have to actually beat this team because even when they play them in the regular season, they don't beat them either. So I mean, because I believe they played them last season in the regular season, and they got blown out. Um, so I just think I mean, from a psyche perspective, like the Niners need to win this game. Versus the Chiefs, if they win or lose, they're 5-0. It doesn't really. Yeah. I mean, if they win, they're 6-0. Great, but if they lose and they're like, well, I mean, like we beat this team in the Super Bowl anyways. Um, to me, I mean, the Niners are, I mean, obviously they're missing CMC. I mean, like CMC, they're saying he's on his way back, so we'll see. Jordan Mason is not on the injury report. So I mean, he should be good to go. So I mean, like to me, like I think the key to this game for me it's got to be like Brock. Like Brock only makes plays. I mean inside the pocket, but outside the pocket as well. And I kind of feel like because we played him, and I mean he killed us. He ran around, and that's how he killed my defense. So I think that's going to be a key to this game because I don't think they're going to be able to block. I mean Chris Jones. I just don't see it. I mean he's a real live game wrecker. And so like I feel like he's going to do the same thing to Brock. So I mean Brock he's going to have to escape the pocket and try to make plays that way. And I mean like the success for the Niners I think hinges on that because I know they're going to be able to run a little bit. I mean like Debo's there, Ayuk's there, Kittle's there. So I mean like they're going to be able to do that as well. But I mean like Brock is going to have to use his legs to make plays. So I'm really looking forward to that game. I think it's like a 4:25 kickoff. So I mean, it's going to be something that I'm waiting to see. So,
All right, who do we have on blowout notice?
I gotta say the Panthers, man. I mean, I feel like I pick the Panthers every week to get blown out, and they just don't.
I'm sorry, Whittle.
This
Where
time,
I'm at is
no.
kind of messed. Say that again, Whittle. My bad.
I got the Commanders blowing the doors off the Panthers, man. I mean, I just don't. But the problem is the Commanders' defense is so bad. Like it's so bad. The Panthers may actually be able to hang around. I looked at Eagles Giants, but I mean division games are so tough to judge. The Lions blowing out the Vikings would not surprise me, even though the Vikings are undefeated. But I've got no faith in the Panthers. And all the faith in the world in JD5. So I think that the big Commanders are gonna run it up on the Panthers on Sunday.
I mean, for me, I was gonna go with that game, and I was thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, like the Panthers. I mean, that's kind of like a weekly thing. I mean, for everybody picking them to get blown out. So what I decided to do was I'm going with the Titans, man. Like they got to go up to Buffalo, up to Orchard Park. Um, and I mean, like Will Levis does not move me, and I mean, like one way or another. I mean, and I think the most points they haven't even scored 20 points this season yet. And and Sean McDermott, like I just think he's gonna put Will Levis in the torture chamber. Like I don't like. I mean, like he can't even read regular defenses, and make proper plays. So what's going to happen when you go against this defense with Sean McDermott? And I mean, he gonna put you in the torture chamber. I don't like for Will Levis. Like in this type of game, like I think he's gonna play terrible. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he's gonna turn over the ball at least about a good two. I mean, I'm not gonna say 3 times. I'll say 2 times. And I mean, like with the Titans also is like the connection between Will Levis and Ridley is not good. I mean, like Ridley not getting. He's saying he's not getting the ball, and he's still getting 7-8 targets, and he's dropping passes left and right. So I mean, they got that going, and then I think Tajay Spears is kind of hurt a little bit. So I'm not sure if
He's out.
no, he's not even playing. So I mean, it's just on Pollard. And I mean, like we watched Pollard with the Cowboys. Like you can't have him as your only back. Like he needs another back to kind of, give him some support because he's not in stature wise, he's not the biggest guy in the world. But I mean, the one bright spot I can say about the Titans is their defense. Like they have one of the top ranked defenses in the league. So I mean, maybe they can hold the Bills at bay for a little while. But I just, like I said, I don't see the Titans offense being able to score points and sustain drives enough. And at some point, when your defense is on the field too much, they're going to give it up, and that's just what I think is going to happen.
All right, let's stay right there with you, JMIK. Let's go to the upset of the week.
Man, I'm going with my own game, man. I'm going Patriots, Jags. I mean, Patriots is 6-point dogs right now. We're going over to London. The Jaguars is in complete disarray, like complete and total disarray. So I just don't trust him that much, and I think ETN is out because I think he hurt his hamstring last week, so I don't think he's playing. And on the Patriots side for me, I mean, like Drake May's first game was last week. For your first game, it was pretty good. I mean, like some of the throws he was making, Jacoby just couldn't make those throws. And so like I'm glad they switched over to Drake. I feel like they should have switched over to him a week before for the Dolphins game, but that's water under the bridge right now. And I just feel like we're coming over there. I mean, like Mondre he made the trip. He practiced yesterday. I think he's supposed to walk through today. So I think Mondre's supposed to come back. So it just it's going to give the offense more boost. And I mean, honestly, like the defense kind of let Drake down last week. I mean, even though Drake turned over the ball 3 times, I mean, it's his first game. So that's kind of what I expected. But I mean, the defense, it's supposed to be the strong suit of this team. So I think I think they're gonna have a bounce back game. And then I mean, like, I again talking about my offense, we're going against the worst passing defense in the league. So I mean, like Drake, there's going to be plays for him to make. So he just got to make those plays.
Who you got with?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Browns over the Bengals, man. I mean, I know they just traded Amari Cooper, Deshaun Watson, aka Deshaun Diddy, is playing terribly. Like I get it, but they're getting Chubb back. They're getting Brad. They're getting their running back back. They're gonna go. They're probably gonna go. I was talking to some Browns fans, so they're probably gonna go into heavier sacks. They're gonna run the football. And when they can't run the football, they're going to run it again anyway. And the Bengals have not been able to stop the run all year long. So defensively, the Browns are still a really good team. They play the Bengals tough. Like I think Joe Burrow is like 1-4 or something like that against the Bengals throughout his career. He's had like maybe 1 or 2 good games against them, and the rest, the Bengals have struggled, and the Browns really have been able to bottle them up. The Browns are home. Everybody's writing them off. They just traded away their best wide receiver. I think the Browns going to mess around and pull out the upset, man. They're going to pull this one out.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting stat though. Like Joe Burrow has never won in Cleveland though. I think that's the stat. So, and this game's in Cleveland too. So
yeah, Cleveland's home.
Well, there you go. There's some good games this week. I think this week is much better than what it was last week. So I'm looking forward to this week. But what you got? You got anything, JMIK?
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of what you just said. Like I think the slate of games are much better this week. There's like a bunch of good games. I mean, from like the Seahawks, Falcons, and then you got the Texans, Packers, Lions, Vikings. I mean, like the Eagles, Giants is like a divisional matchup that's always kind of good. So yeah, I mean, like there's a bunch of good games this week. So I mean, I'm enjoy these games pretty much.
What you got with them?
Pretty much the same, man. I'm excited about this slate of games this week. I'm excited to be playing the Titans and not, one of the upper echelon teams in the AFC. We finally get a rest. It's a 1 o'clock game, thank God. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching all these games. Can't wait for Jet Steelers. The Steelers have a chance to drive the nail into the coffin of the Jet season, which always brings me joy. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be paying attention to the games this week and enjoying that. And Wednesday I do my pod. So yeah, man, that's it. Oh, and Josh is back. Josh is back in the top 5 for that MVP. for me. So yeah, let's go.
For sure, for sure. And I think Cooper playing this week, right?
Yeah. Cooper's playing. I don't see
Just
him
making
really
sure.
doing too much, but I mean they're gonna work him in. His old wide receiver coach from the Cowboys. We have him as our wide receiver coach in Buffalo. So he's gonna help him kind of translate the playbook into some terminology that's familiar with him. And yeah, man, I can't wait to see Josh get to work with a viable guy who can beat man press. That's gonna be fun.
All right, appreciate that. Appreciate all you guys for listening, for watching. This is another episode of Routed Up. We will see you next week.